Hey gamers, what's up? How's everyone doing? Good? You're watching Super Jump Reviews. I'm Andrew, and today I've got for you my review for LEGO Marvel Superheroes Universe in Peril for the PS Vita. Now, I've never played any LEGO video games before, so I thought, why not give this game a shot? Let's get to it. My reactions to the graphics range from meh to just okay. It really doesn't stack up to the best of what the Vita has to offer. This looks more like a PSP game, really. I was, however, impressed with the amount of objects moving around on screen. The destructible environments are a nice touch as well. I hardly noticed any slowdown except for a few instances when the screen got really crazy. Now, even though the character details are simple, you're still able to recognize your favorite Marvel superhero, which is always good. I thought it was kinda cute when they were running around on their little feet. Some of the animations were cool to see, such as Hobgoblin flying through the air and Dr. Octopus jumping across tall buildings. There are some nice graphical touches here and there, but for the most part, the visuals were just okay. There wasn't really anything that jumped out at me. A few minor complaints I have to address. At certain parts throughout the game, I experienced the lighting in the environments getting really dark for some reason. It was only for a brief period, and at first I thought I had adjusted the brightness on my screen by accident. It was kinda weird, but maybe it was part of the game and added as an effect. Another thing to mention is that the cutscenes, although well directed, look a little bit blurry. I'm not sure if this is because the developers had to compress the footage taken from the console version, but it doesn't look as sharp as it should. You get the option of using either the touch controls or the analog stick to move your character around. Moving your character around is pretty easy for the most part, but I often got stuck in a few corners when trying to maneuver around tight spaces. As for the touch controls, I have to ask myself, why did the developers even bother? I'll admit, this is the first Vita game with touch controls that made me want to throw my system against the wall. The touch controls just feel clunky and tacked on. They're not very precise and not very accurate either, and they take a while to get used to, and the game doesn't really explain how to use them exactly. For example, the first time I'm playing as Hawkeye, you're told to swipe the screen to shoot multiple targets, but in fact, you're supposed to hold down on the touchscreen, then swipe in order to select your targets. This might not sound like a big deal, but when you're playing the game and doing exactly what it tells you to do and it doesn't work, it can get a little frustrating. Another example is when I was playing as Iron Man for the first time in the game. In order to take flight, you swipe with 2 fingers. Naturally, you would take 2 fingers and swipe, right? Well, the problem is your fingers are too close together. The game doesn't really tell you this, and they could have at least had a better visual demonstration or something. After a while, I figured I could just use my thumbs, which works the best and makes the most sense. My advice? Stick with the analog stick and face buttons, and use the touch only when you must.
Did I ever tell you about my party armor? It was designed like a tuxedo, for more formal battles. Honey, I'm home!
This is probably my favorite part of the game. The voiceovers give the characters a lot of personality. I thought since these were LEGO toys that most of them would just walk around with generic voices, but that's not the case. The voiceover talents do a great job at bringing the LEGO heroes to life, and I'll even admit, the script is pretty damn funny. I also like the music as well, as it was very epic and sounded like something that could have came off the set of the next Marvel movie. I feel like I've played this game before as I'm reminded of the X-Men Legends and Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, so the gameplay wasn't anything new or special to me. There are 15 levels, each level has 3 sections, and each section has their own set of challenges. Think of the challenges as like trophies or achievements. Some challenges include you collecting a certain amount of items, using a super move in X amount of times, or even rescuing civilians in danger. Most of the time, the levels will end with a boss. New characters and super moves can be bought in the store, but honestly, I couldn't tell if the new super moves made a difference or not. This game is fairly easy for the most part, but some of the boss battles can get pretty tough. Now, most of the time you'll be mashing the attack button, but there will be times when you'll have to pay a little more close attention to what's happening on the screen to figure out exactly what you need to do. Not to spoil anything, but the part with Dr. Octopus and the disco ball come to mind. I enjoyed the parts where you're required to build something by holding down the circle button. These were cool because it was always interesting to see what you were going to build. I hate how you can't save the items you collect if you die on a level. If that happens, you're required to go back and recollect everything all over again. That is kind of annoying. You're able to go back and play completed levels with different superheroes. For example, Iron Man can fly over certain places some of the previous characters could not. There was one instant in the game that made me want to break my PS Vita. I went back to play a previous completed level with Iron Man, and I couldn't get past the door because I was supposed to switch back to Hawkeye to hit the switch. I actually thought the game had glitched on me. Maybe I just suck at these type of games. But couldn't the developers have offered some sort of tip to let me know I was able to switch out a character? I personally did not enjoy this game, and even if I was a LEGO fan, I would reconsider my purchase. It wasn't a bad game by any means, but I just have a feeling it plays, looks, and controls a lot better on the consoles. Do yourself a favor, skip this version. Alright, there you have it guys. I hope I wasn't too harsh in this game, and I hope you agree with some of the points I made. And if you didn't, let me know. Oh, and check this out. When I went to pick up my game, the guy at the counter gave me this. It's a Spider-Man keychain. I'm not really into this stuff, so if you want it, just drop a comment below and let me know. I'll see you next week.